Good morning. So here at the Impetuous Chef, I made these breakfast souffles. I'm going to tell you all about it. Come join me for brunch. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. I drink together. Aha. So if I tell you that I'm sorting through all my paperwork, I'll tell you this story as I'm having brunch. So, uh, I'm CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. Across the Red River is beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. And as always, come check us out. Lots of fun things in a little bit. I'm going to take a walk up and down the Highland Parade route. But this this is for in celebration of French and Spanish cultures in Louisiana. That kind of blend, and they kind of give our interpretation of Carnival Mardi Gras, which is a Catholic uh, holiday. Though I'm not Catholic, in Northwest Louisiana, that's predominantly Protestant. A lot of Catholicism throughout the south of the state results in the states having parishes, uh, areas named parishes rather than counties. You know. And everything. So as we can see, just as I'm talking, the center of this souffle it will, it was risen and it will deflate as it sits, but you want to let this rest for a little bit. Okay, so I started with 3 eggs, and an honest souffle, what you want to do is you want to separate your egg whites and you want to beat those egg whites until they fluff up and become soft peaks to medium peaks. And you want to whisk your egg yolk a little bit, and you want to kind of get them broken up, and you want to get a little volume in there also. I didn't really worry about that step. I left the eggs together in a mixing bowl, okay? And I stirred in about a quarter of a cup of heavy whipping cream, and I kind of whisked them all together, and I did that for several minutes. And to that, I added my, you know, uh, little pinch of seasoning salt, little pinch of um, onion powder, uh, and whatever kind of herbs I was going to use, the Italian seasonings or whatever. On the stove, I had fried a little bit of bacon, gotten some crispy bacon, and I rendered off the bacon grease and used a little bit of the bacon grease to blend with a little bit of self-rising flour this time, and to mix up uh, a little bit of roux. And then to that roux, when it became a blonde roux, I added another quarter cup of heavy cream to that pan, whisked it, removed it from the pan, uh, and then let it sit for a few minutes. So I didn't want to um, curdle my eggs. Uh, I gently tempered the egg blend with the roux blend, and got it very whisked up. And I whisked it for about 5 or so minutes. Got a little bit of volume. The more you whisk, the better. I didn't feel like pulling out a hand mixer. I really could have gotten this really thick and stiff, and that would have helped also. But um, I put in about a tablespoon of not a tablespoon. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, like a flat tablespoon of baking powder to help give a little bit of fluff to this. But and then to this, I added uh, the broken crispy bacon and some American cheese crumbles. And you see, we have a crust, a soft crust, but it's there. It's a crust. And so we want to break into this. Goes into that water bath and cooks until it's a nice soft egg consistency. This is great. This is just perfect. This is exactly the way that you want this to be. Um, oh my God, that is wonderful. And these are like, you serve the individual servings, and nothing to it really. And this is exactly the perfect consistency for this. You want you want soft. You want a soft consistency, and to balance out against this crust. This is exactly it. Mm. This is fun. This is a very simple thing to do that can make you look fancy if you're having people for brunch. Look at this. Um, the flavor of this is very, very light. In fact, I would say that the crust that forms along the top is probably the strongest bit of flavor, and it's not even that strong. It's a little bit eggy, but it's not very strong at all. And then, of course, there's the seasonings that we put in. We kind of taste those. But this egg flavor, a very soft egg flavor because of the egg and cream that we added. And so these souffle cups, and then, of course, when you do put them in the oven at 375 and watch them. I did these for approximately 25 minutes. And then you want to take them out and you want to let them sit for a few minutes. I probably could have let this sit a little bit longer, but I wanted to get in and I wanted to show the difference. See, there's cheese and there's eggs and everything like that. This texture is a lot like an omelet. And the one thing I could have done differently, and because this is a segment that I call the Impetuous Chef, I thought I was just going to scramble some eggs. So initially, I just broke 3 eggs in a bowl and started to whisk them. And then I thought to myself, you know what? Why not celebrate uh, Louisiana culture and have like a nice little egg pie, a little souffle, a little quiche. This is a little bit of a blend of all these things. This is closest to a souffle, though, which is a savory egg custard, where you have blended and you've not added sugar, but you've added savory things instead of sweet things. So many different flavors too. What about this? Yeah, very, very delicious. Now, um, like I said, if you want to give this an extra rise, although as you can see, this kind of puffed up pretty well. It went from here and kind of puffed over, and then of course it does deflate as it sits. But if you really want to get that extra rise or something like that, you can separate your egg whites and your yolks, and you can whisk them up separately before you incorporate them. And the longer you whisk them, you can even use a hand mixer or something. I just didn't feel like dragging out that equipment. So the heavy whipping cream is essential for getting a good fluff, a good mixture, a good rise, because you can literally whisk that and fluff it up. But this, the way I prepared it, and the way I described it to you, is a very lazy way of preparing a nice little souffle. You can call it whatever you want. This kind of fits into a lot of different categories. It is baked. It does have a little bit of baked baking ingredients such as a little bit of self-rising flour and everything, and it does qualify as a souffle for those reasons. Uh, if you wanted to put this in a pie shell and pour this out and make like a breakfast pie, that would be sort of a quiche. That's kind of a your egg custard inside of a pie shell, you know. And yeah, it's just I had those 3 eggs and I needed to get rid of them. I needed to use them before I go on my trip. And so I was like, what can I do? Oh, look at this. Light, light, fluffy texture. You can't uh, do much better than this. You could separate, but I couldn't. We couldn't do much better. Mm. Learn 1 or 2 things like this for your friends that come to brunch, and they will be impressed. And maybe they won't gush right in your face, but they'll go back and they'll tell their friends, oh, wow, I went to so and so's house for brunch, uh, and we had little tea sandwiches and teas, and oh my God, there was these little there were these little egg souffles that were wonderful. And it will be a hit. Okay, love and light. And hey, look for my video of the Highland Parade that I'll be walking through a little later on. Bon appetit.